I'm Donna Blanchard, and this is your ThinkTech Daily News for Tuesday, June 23rd, 2015. The United Nations released their report on the Gaza Strip battle last summer. That report, written by a two-member independent commission of inquiry, was submitted to the UN Human Rights Council. It said impunity prevails across the board regarding the actions of Israeli forces in Gaza, and it called on Israel to break with its recent lamentable track record in holding wrongdoers accountable. But that report found the fault of war crimes on both sides. About the Palestinian fighters, the commission cited the inherently indiscriminate nature of rockets and mortars fired at Israeli civilians, condemned the killing of people suspected of being collaborators, and said that the Palestinian authorities had consistently failed to bring violators of international law to justice. That report, which Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu discredited last week before it was even published, goes on to say comprehensive and effective accountability mechanisms for violations allegedly committed by Israel or Palestinian actors will be a key deciding factor of whether Palestinians or Israelis are to be spared yet another round of hostilities and spikes in violations of international law. In a blistering heat wave in Pakistan, the death toll has risen to over 650 people. Temperatures in Karachi, Pakistan's largest city, have hovered as high as 112 degrees Fahrenheit. The impact of the heat is multiplied by chronic electricity shortages, limiting availability of air conditioning, electric fans, and water, and observance of Ramadan, which to this Muslim population means compulsory fasting from both food and water during daylight hours. Schools, colleges, and government offices are being closed, and the main morgue in Karachi is full. Those trying to get into hospitals are suffering from severe dehydration. The combination of this extreme heat and power outages is not new to Pakistan, though the temperatures this year are slightly higher. Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has long promised to bring the country's energy crisis under control. K Electric, the primary provider for Karachi's electricity, is based in Dubai. The Minister for Water and Power, Khawaja Asif, says that he has no control over K Electric. Meteorologists predict that the heat will continue through this week and be relieved soon by the annual monsoon season. NATO Defense Secretary Ashton Carter is traveling through several NATO capitals before sitting down tomorrow and Thursday with other defense ministers in Brussels to debate how to deal with Russia. Russian President Vladimir Putin is very unhappy about continued EU sanctions against Russia. He announced last week that he's beefing up their weaponry. Mr. Carter confirmed plans to position heavy American tanks and other weaponry in the Baltics and Eastern Europe. Julianne Smith, a former defense and White House official, said, "During the Cold War, we had everything there in the neighborhood we needed to respond. It's all atrophied. We haven't gone through the muscle movements of a conventional attack in Europe for decades." They are changing that now by positioning weaponry and training forces within member countries. Jens Stoltenberg, NATO's General Secretary, stated that Russia's actions have resulted in the biggest reinforcement of NATO forces since the end of the Cold War. While NATO has reduced defense spending over a long period of time, Russia has increased substantially and modernized their forces. In an interview in Washington last month, Mr. Stoltenberg called this destabilizing. You think? Ahui ho, everyone. Donna Blanchard, ThinkTech Daily News.